Shoot, she's a beast. She's way better than Sasuke was. In the show right now, where she is at, I think she was better than Sasuke was when he was at that same age. Sarada's under control of this girl's jutsu, and she sees her reflection in the blade and does genjutsu to get herself out. Like, you're a beast.
Yeah, you and I would exactly say you're great on camera, but like I'm terrible at camera, so I literally just edit things out of my footage so that it looks like I know what I'm talking about.
But don't do that. Watch the whole thing. Skip it. Don't do it. Everyone, look. Start if you have not already fallen in love with Naruto, because Naruto is the base. That's like the golden egg.
That's your final answer.
Final answer.
All right, so we're officially recording. So we're calling this spoiler watch episode 1-ish.
Yeah, episode 1-ish. Episode 1-ish.
All right, I like it. All right, so let's get started. Let's get right into it. So
yes,
you prepared way more for this than I did.
I'm just living my life, man.
Fair enough. So, what are you reading right now? What's going on? What's exciting in the world of anime?
Well, if you've been watching, my spoiler alert friends have been keeping up. I've been in Jujutsu Kaisen. Really? Okay, so I haven't watched the last like 2 episodes after I think his name is like Megami or whatever. I can't remember. He's basically the giant robot. He was really like a side character in the last season, and now he's, doing his thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Am I spoiling this for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't sweat. I'm gonna get spoiled. I'm gonna spoil some stuff for you. So
okay.
Don't sweat.
All right. So spoiler alert, my friends. No, so he's battling and he just died is basically what happened. He was an enemy to Gojo, but he was still on his side. Essentially, the whole reason he was even in this situation is because he's trying to get his body back. Okay. He had this like decrepit body and he couldn't do anything. He was always hooked to monitors, and he sided with the bad guys to get a good body, but it cost him his life. So
that defeats the purpose.
Right. It always stems from trying to get a girl. Like he's into this girl. She's another sorcerer, and that's all he's trying to do. He's just trying to get a girl, man.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. So I'm watching that, waiting to see what happens with this new Naruto. Like they're doing 4 episodes of the old, like original Naruto characters, and like where they are now, but it's outside of the Boruto world.
Wait, what time frame does it take place in?
So I'm believing it takes place before Boruto, but after that last episode, like when they got Hinata and Naruto got married. That's what I'm thinking from what I've gathered. I could be wrong, but that's from what I've read and things like that. That's what's supposed to be happening, and I'm super excited for it because it's like it's like that in between where it's like before you have kids and you're like, all right, the war is over, peace is coming. Yeah, that because that's the time when Naruto is training to become Hokage and doing all this stuff. So we got a glimpse at the end of Naruto, but I'd like to see what they do with this because, again, it's like these are the characters that I love. That's who I wanted to see and hear from. And I'll be honest, I've been absolutely loving Boruto in this part right now.
So where are you at right now?
All right, so check me out. I just got done watching Boruto and Sasuke time travel. They went.
Okay, so you're ahead of me now.
You haven't seen that?
I knew. I'm a couple episodes before that starts to happen.
Okay.
So you are now ahead of me.
Yes. No. I love it because they get to. Do you want me to spoil it?
I don't think I want you to spoil it. Out on my own, I've heard that's one of the best parts of.
Yes.
So Sasuke is my boy. So I think I want to hang out with that. So,
okay. I'll tell you this.
To know that you are excited about it.
Yes, I'll tell you this. It gave me really good heart feels. I was in it, man.
Okay.
I did like a little screenshot on my phone too to get a picture of what happened. I was like, this is like so beautiful and cute. I just loved it.
I every time I think of that part, I see that one. There's like a screen or something, and it's Itachi walking past them, and like he just turns his head and like gives like a knowing, like strange
I
but
haven't seen that. I haven't seen
okay,
that. I want to
are
see
they
it.
done?
Is Boruto done?
No, no, no.
Or are
I'm
you
saying, are
talking
you done
about
with
through
that?
this?
Are you done with that arc?
Yes, I'm done with this arc. Yes.
Okay,
So
interesting. I'll have to
maybe
pull it up.
so
I'll take
maybe
note.
maybe it's one of those things where it's like you're seeing something that's even further ahead than I am because I know it's going to get so good. You know how you can just tell.
Yeah.
I know it's about to get really good. Shoot, Sarada, she's a beast. She's way better than Sasuke was. Like way
Okay.
better than he was to me.
Interesting.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so you think her in the new, like, as she's developing, or in the show right now?
In the show right now, where she is at, I think she was better than Sasuke was when he was at that same age.
Interesting.
I think that
I think
Sasuke
they
was a
all
little
are.
more. Yeah, I think Sasuke was a little more aggressive, and so he was more like. And I don't know if they're doing the whole how typically the kunoichi, the female shinobis, are timid that way. They just develop them that way. But as far as skill and what I've seen from her, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I think you might be better than your dad.
I mean, she's definitely a beast for sure. I do like her a lot.
You're
So, but I
like,
feel
you're
like
not
all of them, they're all
you're
good.
not giving her you're not
I
giving her the
know.
title of better.
I can't officially say with what I've seen. I don't know. Maybe you've seen a little bit further than I have now. So I can't officially say what I've seen that she was better. Sasuke was a
Okay.
beast. He was like miles ahead of it.
Yes, he
So
was. But check. Okay, so you've seen the part that I'm thinking about where I'm like, no, she has so much more potential. Where they were, it was in that stone arc
okay,
where they're in the village and those clones, those like fake artificial people like Mitsuki, they were fighting and the girl, I don't even remember her name. She throws her sword and Sarada's under control of this girl's jutsu, and she sees her reflection in the blade and does
yeah,
genjutsu to get herself out. Like,
yeah,
you're a beast. That was like a split second where she
yeah.
did that. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
that was pretty legit. I do remember that moment. They're all like that. Boruto is way stronger than Naruto was at that age too. So
100%.
at
Yes.
that point, and like, they're miles ahead. So I'm not surprised by that. I can officially agree with you that she is ahead, but I don't know that it's anything
Okay.
other than this. The show needs to be better. It
Right.
needs to be more
Okay. I got
impressive.
you.
It needs to affect my eyeballs better than normal did.
Right.
If
Right.
it's going to
Right.
keep my attention or keep a new audience attention. So,
Yes.
but yeah, no,
Yes.
she's pretty legit. So I also like that they gave her like the strength too.
Yeah.
Like they gave
Yeah.
her, she's not
Sakura's
just pure
strength.
skill. Yeah. So
Exactly. It was like whatever Sakura was doing to, because again, that was something that Sakura developed over time
right,
and with chakra control. So it's
right.
it's interesting that they merged
Yeah,
that
that was like
versus like
Tsunade's
yeah,
influence.
ver- versus where you got the difference with Boruto is Naruto literally has the nine tails inside of him. That's like fused with him, so it's a part of him. And then Hinata has the Byakugan, so that's her Kekkei Genkai. So it's a part of her DNA. Whereas with Sakura, that
Yeah,
strength came with chakra control. So
training.
it's
Yeah,
not something she was born with; it's something she developed. And I like that they passed that down to Sarada so that
yeah,
she could have it too. I think it's
yeah.
cool.
I think so too. I think they're all really good meshes of their parents. So,
Yes,
but it's
yes,
good. Don't fix what ain't broke, right?
exactly.
So.
So how about you though, man? What are you into?
It's been an experience. So I've been essentially gone for a month, roughly.
Yeah.
So that was by design. So I wanted to do about a month's worth of shorts just to get an idea of what it looked like, the patterns of it. I do love the AI styled. I'm just telling a story in very brief 60 seconds or
Yeah.
less. I do like that.
Yeah.
And I think I will continue to do that in the future. But basically, that was an experiment to see what that would look like. And I think it was very
Okay.
successful as far as I'm concerned. So I know there's a lot of people who are doing that as their entire shtick and are able to be pretty successful with that. But ultimately, that's not what I initially wanted to do. But I had to take this time to figure out what was next. So that's where the rebranding came into.
So Beyond the Bat. I noticed.
Beyond the Bat. That is correct. So, Batman Beyond has always been one of my favorite shows. I remember watching it as a kid, and I just love it. Like I when I watch it back now, it just gives me this nostalgia. That's like it's just easy to watch. So have you watched? Like, have you seen?
I feel like I have, but like if we're talking about Batman Beyond, like the last clip you put up, is it that time period?
Yeah. So Batman Beyond it was a show, came back out in 1999, and it was essentially the next evolution of Batman. So Bruce Wayne is old.
Right.
A new, younger kid takes over, Terry McGinnis, brand new character, essentially. He takes over and is trained by Bruce. So Bruce is ready. He's retired. He's done. He's ready to no longer be a part of Batman. But circumstances arise as you watch the video. And then new kid takes over, and he thinks
hold on. I couldn't help but laugh at that. Legitimately, when it's like Batman's like, "Yo, I'm getting too old for this." that moment you realize, I got to switch it up.
Yeah, he pulls a gun on somebody, man. But he knew he was gonna die. He's like, I don't have a choice. Reasonable decision, but not something Batman. He holds himself to a higher standard for sure. And when he crossed that path, there's just no, he couldn't move forward. So fortunately, fate so has it that another takes his place, and he does everything he can to mentor him. So Bruce, in a really cool situation, he's always been a mentor to Robins and all the above. And this takes place way later. Some of those characters show up throughout the series, but this is him as definitely more like a father figure.
Okay. Versus like that sensei kind of role. It's like, I'm gonna merge sensei and father into one.
Yeah, there's not a lot like training. So Terry's already in pretty good shape. This is a lot of, you go out and do this. Terry is a natural. He figures it out pretty quick. And then Bruce is just that voice in his ear. He becomes like the Cortana to Master Chief, so he's just that inner voice that helps guide him, essentially. So but Terry inherits all these cool toys and gadgets and suits, and so they go through and they fight crime. Essentially, that's it. There's 3 seasons. After that, it transitions to a ton of comics and some other things that are pretty cool, video games, that kind of thing. So I look forward to covering the vast majority of this. Batman Beyond has a huge fan base. It's essentially like a cult section of Batman.
Right.
So that's where it came from. So that's the goal I decided to target and run with that, essentially.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. I like it.
Figured it easy if I just cover one thing. I'm still reading a ton. There's a bunch that's in comics. There is one Batman Beyond run that's going right now. It's called Neo Gotham. Sorry, Neo Gothica. And hold on.
So is it like
this stuff? It doesn't matter. I can edit this out. So
that's true. That's true.
We can do whatever we can take as many takes as we want because I can go cut it. So and it doesn't take long to cover it at all. So
look at you. You're a rebel. you're making me uncomfortable.
Post production. So I have a camera that. Speaking of this, now I'm leaning back too far.
Like I'm terrible. I'm terrible with post production.
Yeah, you and I exactly. You're great on camera, but like I'm terrible at camera, so I literally just edit the shit out of my footage so that it looks like I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But it is what it is. Like, so I got no worries about that, and I have a program that makes it really easy to do that. So it doesn't take so adding all the fancy stuff onto it is this part that takes forever. But anyway.
All right. So basically, what is this Neo Gotham thing, or what are you watching? What are you into right now?
Yeah. So
reading, all of that.
I know it's a little strange because you watch, I read, right? So but that's not entirely true anymore because Batman Beyond, that is shtick, right? That's where Beyond the Bat came from. So it's always been one of my favorites since I was a kid. So now that I'm older, I get this. It's just so good to go back and watch it, and I get to.
Yes.
So that's what I'm going to be covering from this point forward. Neo Gothic is actually the new comic. So I think I talked about this last time, but comics run in about 6 issues at a time, right? So
Right. Yeah.
you don't quite have the longevity because comics come out usually about 3 or 4 weeks ahead of time. Hold on. See, I'm gonna have to edit this out too because I lost where you were at, and now I have to edit you back to where you were, or else I can't actually look at you when I talk.
Oh, okay.
My screen.
It's so funny because it's like all of this is a part of the things that we see. It's like the productions and all the things. It's like just like making a movie. There's
It is.
outtakes and all that. It's cool. I don't know. I enjoy it.
This program is also really not working. It's really giving me fits today. So I don't know what's going on with it, but I need you to be in the center of my screen so that when I'm looking at you, it looks like I'm looking. We're having trouble getting that right. Okay. I forgot what I was talking about.
You're talking about how they run it like six comic issues and then it's 4 weeks in advance.
I got you. Okay, so Neo Gothic is actually like the newest comic book run. So they essentially do series, and sometimes these series can go from 1 to issue 30 or 1 to issue 50, right? They're these big long runs, and these runs are multi-years. So the biggest runs in comics are the standard runs. There is one that started essentially in 2011 and ran to 2016. That's called the New 52, right? So that is a big run, and all the different characters get one of these runs, right? So they get like Superman starts off at 1 and he goes 1 through 52, and that's why it's called the New 52 in 2011, where they did 52 different comics. Right?
Okay.
It's roughly 50 issues of each comic. Okay, so it was meant to go for a couple years.
Right.
In a row, yeah, like 4 years essentially is what it would end up being. But not all the comics made it. So some of them only made it to like issue 13, and then they were discontinued because of lack of popularity or for other reasons.
Right.
But so they're essentially in the last 10 years, there have been 2 major runs, and that's been New 52, which went from 2011 to 2016, and then Rebirth started in 2016. That went until now, essentially. I believe it was September of last year. They did Dawn of DC, which is kind of a 3rd run. Okay, so that's how most comics work. You go through, you get a new comic every couple weeks. Usually it's about a month, somewhere between 2 weeks and 4 weeks, and then they have like events that happen in between. So Batman Beyond actually has not really traditionally been like a standard comic book series. So it's not like Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman or Flash that have had these continuous runs, or Justice League. So it looks a little bit different. So Neo Gotham is actually the 2nd run that's happened in the last 2 years. So in 2020, there was a run called Neo Year. It was 6 episodes long, or 6 issues long. That was just a chunk story that kind of brought us into a new era of Batman Beyond. And this new era kicks off with the death of Bruce Wayne. So the show, which ran forever, brief background history of Batman Beyond. The show started way back in like 1999. That had 3 seasons that ran through. And then after that, it released a comic book that kind of had the same storyline as the kickoff of the show, just so it was basically the exact same story, just in comic book form. And then that branched off to another series that took place, a 24-issue run that took place after the show. So it's kind of a continuation of the show. But kind of a lot of those shows villains. So if you've watched all the shows, you can turn and transition into the comics. And then after that, once that one finished, that was a 24 issue run. Once that's finished, then there was a new set of comics every couple years. Okay. Until 2016, when Rebirth happened, which was that second big reset. Then Batman Beyond got his own comic, and then that ran for a number of years. So when that ended, they essentially killed off Bruce Wayne and started a new, slightly in the future version of Batman Beyond. So that was called Neo Years, this big event, 6 episodes. That was like the transition into a new future for Batman Beyond. Okay. So the Neo Gothic is the new future of Batman Beyond. This is where Batman is where Batman Beyond is going in the future. And so far, it's been pretty legit. So,
Okay. So I'm curious about this, right?
mhm,
So where do you see the future of the franchise going? Because every most people when they think of Batman, they think Bruce Wayne. So if we got a new age of people coming in, how do you
mhm.
think they're going to produce that? What do you think they're going to do with that? How are we as the masses going to zone in or narrow in and be like, yeah, we're cool with that. We're cool with Bruce Wayne being gone, and now we got the new Bat.
So it's personal preference, right? So
Oh,
this isn't the only one going right now, right? So
okay,
Batman Beyond it coincides, exists at the same time that the current Batman storyline goes. So the storyline of Batman as Bruce Wayne or Bruce Wayne as Batman is still happening. So they're
okay,
still
okay.
releasing comic issues now. So you don't have to have that choice.
I
there is no
gotcha.
drama
Yes,
because you can
yes.
have both.
Okay.
And for me,
Yes,
as a Bruce
yes.
Wayne fan and as a Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis fan, it's great because I get both. Like you can have your cake and
Right.
eat it, essentially.
Okay.
So you don't have to make that choice. Like I read Batman still to this day. I'm waiting on the new episode or the new issue right now. So I have that there. Bruce Wayne Batman is actually in a giant war with Catwoman essentially right now. It's called the Gotham War, and Catwoman has essentially came in and taken a bunch of the violent criminals that used to work for like Two-Face, Joker,
Yeah.
those the big bads that you expect, and doing heinous crimes, and she's taught them to essentially steal from the rich, like steal jewelry, be cat burglars essentially, and steal from the rich
Okay.
as a way to give them a source of income or give them a way to be criminals that doesn't involve people getting hurt or dying. So
Right.
rich get screwed over by that, but she doesn't care about that. So she sees it as they can afford to be stolen from.
Right.
Um, but what she does when she does that, it works, right? The violent crime in Gotham goes way down. Um, Batman at this point, while she's doing this, Batman is otherwise indisposed from a number of other different events. But when he gets back, he's obviously not very happy about it, right? So he comes back
Mm-hmm.
to a city that's less crime or that has less violent crime, but more non-violent crime. So there's
Right.
of the Bat family that decide this is a good thing, where they say, "Hey, violent crime is down. People aren't getting hurt. This is a good thing." And Batman says, "I don't think so. Like, I don't like this.
What,
Stop crime."
what, when you think about it, because look, Bruce Wayne is wealthy. He understands the dynamics of when the wealthy people leave. This is not going to be where you want to live. You know what I mean? So it's like he might see a different side of it that the regular folk aren't seeing.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair for sure. So that's what essentially Batman is like. No, like you don't get to pick and choose, right? Crime is crime. We're doing it.
Right.
So, couple of the Bat family side with Batman, couple of the Bat family side with Catwoman. So then we got this big brawl essentially between the two forces. We just found out in this latest episode that there's another person at play, and somebody has orchestrated this whole process. And Catwoman's
Mm.
plan to train all of these violent criminals, while it was initially successful, maybe played into the hands to a much bigger bad. So
Okay.
final pages of the last episode, we get this kind of monologue, and we find out what's actually happening here, and we find out that Catwoman might be working her way back to Batman very quickly because Ra's al Ghul is dead, but a very film is currently at play, and it's going to take combined to be able to stop him. So it should be
So
very
regular.
interesting to see how they mend those gaps, because for the last 7 or 8 issues, it's been all building towards this big war between Batman and Catwoman, and this last one it took a right turn.
It sounds like, I hate to bring it up, but it sounds an awful lot like the Obito story. Madara was behind the scenes, like
Right.
let's make this happen here.
That's right, for sure.
Yes,
So, point being is that there's an excellent Batman storyline going on right now, so you don't need to choose.
yes,
So
yes.
you get to have both of them, and in fact, I have both of them on my pull list, ready to go, waiting for the next episode. So I'm reading those, and then I'm also going back and reading some of the older Batman stuff as well, which I have been incredibly impressed by. So
Okay.
I think I'll probably have a video coming on that here relatively soon,
I
because
I
I think I found the right spot to start. If this is like
okay.
your first comic book, first comic book experience, and you're a Batman fan. Like that's the key. Is you got to be a Batman fan, right?
Yeah.
If Batman is your guy, I'm a Batman guy. They're a Superman guy. There are Green Lantern guys. There are a ton of different characters. There are Flash guys. I'm a Batman guy. I think a lot of people are Batman guys.
Yeah, for sure. For
sure. Narrowed that down where the best place to start is, but you'll be seeing more about that here pretty soon. So,
what's interesting to me about all that, right? You just mentioned you got the Flash, Green Lantern, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, right? I never ever hear anybody talking about the Green Lantern, even though he was a cool character. But I rarely hear about that. So when I'm looking at the hierarchy, 100%, I think it's a Batman Superman kind of battle for the top for the most part. And I think Batman, if I'm being real, I think Batman takes it.
Yeah.
Like he is the most relatable to all of us. Like here we are, we can train, we can go through the whole the night and darkness and the strength and all that. We can do that and become great. And I think that's why I like him the most. It's like,
yeah, we can't all just be reborn as aliens from a different planet.
Exactly.
Right? So
exactly.
Gain super strength by existing here.
Yes. No, I think that's cool. I think that starting in that time period that you're talking about will be a cool thing. I'm anxiously waiting to see what you come up with, man.
Yeah, I will. So that's on the list for sure. So it's funny you mentioned about Green Lantern too, because I'm also a huge Green Lantern fan. I really like it, but I feel like Green Lantern has a super cool moveset and super cool ability. And there's been numerous Green Lanterns throughout the course of time. The most commonly known, probably Hal Jordan, that's the one who you're usually thinking about. We think about like Justice League Green Lantern. You're
right
about Hal Jordan, but he just has an attitude and atmosphere that you have to like.
Okay.
And it's very Green Lantern is much more sci-fi. I feel like Batman is like your dark and gritty, like on the street, walking down the street that you don't want to be on in New York, like middle of the night. And then Superman is very like family man and like farm boy.
Right.
Sure. It's always sunny in Metropolis, like
yes.
So
yes.
I think that each of them have their different vibes. Hal Jordan is essentially like Tom Cruise from Top Gun, essentially.
Right.
That is his character.
Isn't that how the Green Lantern movie started? He was like on a motorcycle and he came in and he was like the hot shot.
That's literally exactly. That's the character, essentially.
Okay.
So I loved it. I love Green Lantern. So, but you just have to have a certain. I think he's less popular overall because A, he's less relatable for one, but B, his stories are very different. I think he's much more different than the other characters. I think there's a lot.
Yeah.
He's technically the guardian, not just of Earth, but like of the entire sector.
Right. Yes.
Many planets. So it's just a different vibe, more sci-fi vibe, I think.
Okay. I might have to get into him again because I like the Flash a lot, and I think again there's a relatability component there, but definitely more so with Batman. But I don't know, at least from what I've seen, like when I watch things on Netflix and like the series that they created, I'm like, you like that. So yeah, I gotta check out some Green Lantern stuff because as a kid he was one of my favorites because I love that ring and being able to do the hammer and grab people and do all kinds of stuff. Yes, I thought it was super cool. Make the big guns, shoot the stuff. It had a cool
guns and for sure.
It was that mystery element, that sci-fi mystery element that I like. So I might have to check them out again, get back into it.
So did you mentioned a documentary? What were you talking about when you said that?
Not a documentary, the series that Netflix put out because they had what's the dude's name? Shoot. Anyway, he came off of that show and he has his own series on Netflix. But is there a documentary? If there's a documentary, I want to see it.
There's a documentary about DC Comics. So it's called It's on Max though. So I have Max because Max is like DC's platform essentially.
Right.
Basically everything that DC's ever made you can have on Max, like Disney Plus for Star Wars.
Right.
that kind of thing. So they have a 3-part documentary. I think each part is like an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. It's a solid, good chunk. I watched it in 3 separate settings because it was a lot. But it basically starts from like day one DC Comics, how they built Batman and Superman, and it goes all the way through present day, essentially.
Interesting.
What they're working on now. So it talks about like all the kind of struggles that they went through and how they built the company and the different characters that they built and how they went about approaching that and the kind of battle between DC and Marvel.
So, I like that. I think I might check that out.
It's called Superpower.
Superpowered?
Superpowered.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. Leah and I sat and watched it, and she was interested in it too. So
yeah,
it was pretty good. So I learned so much. Like there was so much that I didn't know or didn't understand, and it goes through and talks about all like the biggest events and how some of the decisions that they made changed kind of the shape of the landscape for comics. So it was very cool. I did not know. I learned so much.
I think it was, as like a fan, I think it's cool, but also this goes into one of my other pillars, but I think the business side, I'd like to hear like the thought process behind what they decided to do. I think that'd just be cool to understand and know and see where they do plan on going. How long ago? When was it made?
I think it was done in 2022, 2021.
Oh, so it's recent.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It may even be newer than that. I don't know. I can't remember exactly when it ended, but they were talking about things that are still happening, essentially.
Okay.
I think it might have been 2021, 22, because they didn't mention like the newest. There was a big event. So I mentioned briefly earlier that comic books, they tend to run they have these big long runs, right? That span, and then every 5 to 10 years, they bring everything back to one. Right. So,
yes.
And then they bring everything back to one starting point and they restart all of the comic books and then they all branch back out and then they just kind of resync them. Right. So those events have become less frequent. They used to happen more regularly, but the last one was in 2016. They're doing like what they call a soft launch. Now, reset now with Dawn of DC, where they're starting over a lot of the things. And that's to make sure the comic books, like, so for example, one of the ones that didn't do that was Detective Comics. So like the old school, like where DC got his name, Batman Detective Comics, that's never done that. It's never reset. Actually, that's not true. It reset once for a period of time, and then they reverted it, like essentially.
Okay.
Numbering, but they're on episode like 1,670 or something.
Okay.
You stop that from happening. They bring everything back together, and also like plot lines just get tangled. There's so much confusion as to what has actually happened with the characters, so they try to bring it all back together, reset everybody from scratch, reintroduce all the characters. Certain times, like Batman, for example, like sometimes he has certain love interests and sometimes as the comic book goes on, sometimes he has a different love interest or whatever. So they make small changes like that. So this newest one they did not mention in the documentary. So I think that it probably ended in like 2021 or something like that.
Okay.
I feel like they would have mentioned what's next.
After our last talk, I did some research, and I don't remember the exact dates, but I found out that comic books got their origin from manga in Japan.
Really?
And I just thought that was a super cool fact because I was like, which one started first? So I was looking into it, and like manga is like ancient. It goes way back. And then they started to put it in print like for distribution. And then shortly after that, that's when like comic books started. I just thought it was super cool because it's like I love anime and I love that whole realm, and I never really think of manga anymore like I used to. Like I said, I used to read it all the time as a kid, but I don't look at it as much anymore. But now I'm like, yo, I'm essentially a part of that same kind of comic book realm where you're in it. It's just anime based versus, whatever else is going to be out there.
Yeah. Well, I think I think the anime opens up the stories and such to just a completely different audience. There's a set of audience that just doesn't have the time or doesn't have the attention span to read, essentially.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Reading is more of an active, I think, is more active than watching.
If I can be real with you, there's two sides of me, right? There's the side of me that's like, I really want to do it. I want to get into it.
Yeah.
But it's just like books though. Like when I read books, it ruins the movie experience for me. And I love watching the movies. So I hold back on things where I'm like, I don't want this to be ruined for me because even though I know it's better, I know it's going to be better. And I feel like that's going to be the same case.
So you have a whole sect of people that will say the exact opposite, right?
Really?
They don't want to watch movies because it ruins the book for them. Like,
No, no, no. It's
I think it just
100% the
depends.
other.
So I know I got one of those sitting in the next room. So we can't watch Game of Thrones because she hasn't read the books. So
Seriously.
yeah,
Oh,
and that's okay. I don't.
yeah,
I
yeah.
watch Game of Thrones anyway. But I've read
Right.
the first book, but she wants to read it. She wants to experience it because she likes the books, right? She enjoys that. So
Right.
I think it's just a personal thing. So you mentioned last time that you were thinking about starting to read manga.
Yes, and
That
look,
did not happen.
check me out too. Look, so I got an app where there's a few different things that I'm gonna read, and then I even went so in Uptown, like the downtown area of the town, right?
Yep.
They do have a comic shop. I went and looked. I didn't go inside. I just looked from the outside. I don't want to fall into the hole. Oh man, I did. I went, I looked, I literally stood across the street. I didn't even go up to the
Oh my
window.
god.
I stood across the street and stared at the building for like 2 minutes. Oh man, I'm like, no, it's here. It's real. It happens.
It's real. It's there. They got a comic shop. Not surprising.
Yes, they totally do.
50,000 people. They have a comic shop. So, that you observed from
Yes, I'm taking little steps.
ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I think I've been to every comic shop here in my area now.
Okay.
So I think I have. And I try to do my best to buy everything I can there just to help support them to the best of my
Yeah.
ability. A lot of times you either don't, your town just doesn't have a comic shop, or it's too far away, it's inconvenient, this kind of thing. So fortunately, you can get everything on apps and you can get them online.
Yeah.
So I do a fair bit of that as well. So, but I think it's funny that you tiptoed, didn't go in.
Yes. No. It's
Can I
100%.
ask what stopped you? What stopped you?
That I don't want to fall into the hole. I'm like, if I go in here, I know for a fact I'm going to see something I like. And I know for a fact if I buy it, I'm going to read it. And then I'm going to start reading these things, and then it's going to ruin the shows for me if I try and watch it. So I'm like, I got to be really careful about going into these types of places.
Well, I mean, I know you have a huge aversion to spoilers, so you are very much the la 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 la.
Yes.
I got it. Maybe even more dramatic than that. Let's be real.
Yes.
But so then that's the key. You just watch the show first and then go read the manga.
Yeah. Yes. 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 So the problem with that though is, so I come across this all the time, really. And the show that I want to start reading the manga for is Demon Slayer,
Okay.
because Demon Slayer is so stinking good right now. I know I'm watching it for like the third time now. It
Okay.
is so good, and I want to read the manga because it's like the show has detail, but I know based on what my experience was with Naruto that there's stuff that's missing, and I want
Mhm.
to know the story. I want to know what's happening, but again, I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil.
So you got to be real careful just getting to the exact point in which.
Yes.
But then, are you going to be able to stop yourself?
Oh, I can stop. I can. I don't even watch previews for shows that I want to watch or movies because I'm like, I already know I'm gonna watch this, so there's no sense in me going any further.
That's fair.
So, so speaking of Demon Slayer, I remember the last time we talked. You said you had started it. Where are you at in the show?
I haven't picked it back up.
Oh, what?
So between my full time job and doing the comic and all the research and everything, I can't count the number of videos that I've watched and just trying to figure out what the best approach is and what to do, what to move forward. So there's been a lot of research. So my free time is like minuscule, like this much. So
Bro,
I spend 100% of my time doing that. So no, but I will tell you, I think I'm on like episode 3, something like that. But
people, I need all my spoiler alert friends to comment and tell this man to pick it back up. Find the time.
It was good. I'll give you that. Like I remember I watched the first episode years ago, like when it first started becoming very super popular. I watched the first episode because everybody said it was amazing, and I was like, he's okay. But I think I got to like the third episode and I was hooked. Like,
okay.
I was like, yo, this is good. This is good. But that's when I started transitioning into different focus, and because that was initially I was gonna really have a big part of it, but ultimately I just decided to go with something that I was much more comfortable with.
Right.
Comfort zone. This element I have years of experience with.
Yeah.
And the other one I pretty much watched Boruto, essentially.
Okay.
Anime. So that's about the entire Naruto. That's pretty much the entirety of my experience. Whereas these characters I've known and loved for years. That's why I've decided to transition in a different direction. So,
okay.
But
you need
it started getting pretty good. So I'll probably have to pick up like an episode or two a month.
I always talk about this to people when they're like, I don't have time to do this and this and this. I'm like, do you poop? If you poop, you can watch it. You can watch at least half of an episode while you poop. I can promise you that you have some time in there. Pick it up, man. Pick it up. It is so good. I'm
usually going over analytics while I'm pooping. So my poop time is already accounted. So,
yes. Okay.
You know me better than just about anybody.
Yes. So, that doesn't surprise me, actually, that you do that.
That is structured. My commute is structured. Like what I do on my commute is structured. My poop time is really structured. I have a pretty regular bowel, so I don't have a whole lot about poop time. But the time that I do have, I'm utilizing appropriately.
It's okay though, because I can admit I used to watch regularly when I was pooping. Sorry for the potty talk, everybody, but I used to watch regularly while I was pooping.
I'm probably gonna.
But I definitely do more analytics for my own like other side things, business stuff. It just happens. I think that might be. It's the phase that we're in too. I don't know. It might just be that. I don't know. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't want to look at my now that I have an iPhone. I don't want to look at my screen time for my analytics page. Like I don't want to think about it. Like I don't
really
time I spend in YouTube Studio. It's a lot.
Okay.
Over it, seeing what works, what doesn't, that kind of thing. So
gotcha. That is too funny, man. That is too funny. So okay, I'm gonna switch it up then, because I know you watched a good chunk of this show, and this is honestly it's my favorite of the new age shows. My Hero Academia.
Got it.
It's my favorite of the new shows. Where did you end on that?
Season 2.
You're hurting my heart. You're hurting my heart right now.
I'm trying to remember what exactly was happening in the last. Let me look. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. What you tell me what's going on, what you're excited about right now while I look it up.
What I'm excited about right now in the show is what Shigaraki is going to do next. Because essentially him and All For One are in this battle of possession of his body. That's the end I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna give you any more of it because I don't want to spoil this. It is too precious. It is gold. What's happening right now? It is gold. This last season, season 6, because that's the last season we were in, is the best season of all of them, hands down. I will argue tooth and nail with anyone over that.
Wow.
There's so much happened. So much happened from characters dying. Like, when deaths happen in the shows, it's like, whoa, that doesn't always happen. And the ruthlessness of the villains, it's a different tier. I'd say from season 4 and 5 to 6, there's a stark difference in the brutality. I feel like, because I remember there was a time when, like, after season 5, everybody was like, My Hero Academia, this is sucking. The creators need to be better, and you know how everybody rants, how they do. I thought season 5 was good. I could see season 4 how it ended, where it was like, all right, it's a little fluffy, but
Yeah,
I could see where they were building, right?
sure.
Season 6, he came back with a vengeance. He was like, oh, you want something? I'll show you exactly what you want.
Careful what you wish for.
Man, it's so good. So good. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, so good.
Yeah, I loved My Hero Academia too. Like it was great. So
I tr-
I,
I
I don't know if I had quite had the love for it that I had for Naruto. Like I watched forever for Naruto. Like it
yeah.
was a long time before it sunk its teeth in. Like
And then once they were in, they don't
yeah,
come out. I don't think.
once Sasuke broke that kid's arms, that's was like
Again, here
so.
we go.
But the thing I like about My Hero Academia is the art style. Like it just looks
Yes,
good. Like
it looks really good. I like the story. And again, we get in season 6, it goes more into it, and Deku as the hero, and it's like the transition that's happening. I really like it. I
okay. Now,
really like it. Go ahead.
does he ever age? Like does he ever get older?
They're slightly older. They're slightly older. It's not so much where it's super noticeable, but you can tell they're a little taller. They got a little bit more experience under their belt. You can see it.
Okay.
And I think that's another thing that I liked about season 6 is that you can see a little bit of advancement there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because he was always wimpy.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least in the first season, I felt like he was a little wimpy.
He takes on, man, and it's gonna take you forever to get to this point. So we got plenty of time, but I don't know. I'm having a hard time deciding which one you should go into. Because okay, so I remember Bakugo was your favorite character, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It might be better for you to go Demon Slayer
Okay.
and get your fills with that, and then come back to My Hero. Gosh, there's so much.
Bakugo's progression,
What was that?
simply because of Bakugo's progression.
Yeah, Bakugo doesn't progress the same way that you would hope he would have progressed.
Okay, that's fair.
So I don't want you to get your heart broken too soon. But
Okay.
I think part of it though is because of how when you look at both of them, you got Deku and Bakugo.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're progressing, it's like Bakugo starts up here and then Midori is like working his way up and they're going at the same pace, but there's a difference in their skill level. But as you get into season 6, Bakugo's down here now. It's not like a one for one. It's
Right.
it and to give you a spoiler, Bakugo struggles with this. He struggles hard with it.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yes.
Now, do you think that like is that like a final thing? Like, are they leaving him behind? Like, is he getting is the show moving on from that rivalry, that struggle between the two of them, or is
I think they'll always be rivals, but it's going to be like an Endeavor All Might rivalry,
okay?
where it's like Endeavor, you're a beast. We know you're a beast. You're the number 2 hero, but you don't hold a candle to All Might, man.
So is Baku still considered number 2? Like, is he still?
It's in the class.
Because you had Tokidori too, right?
No, in their class he is, but in the show,
Yeah,
no,
yeah. So he gets left behind.
he gets left behind.
That's fair. Because I'm sure there are new characters too. Are there multiple new characters that come in?
So many,
Super broken heart about that. I can respect that.
so many. Season. What was it? It was season. I think it might have been season 3. Season 3 going into season 4, they bring in the upperclassmen,
Okay.
and even in that class, it's like Bakugo might be of the new ones that they introduce. He would then be number 5 or 6 in the rankings of all the characters we know that are young.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's fair. Whatever.
At least in my opinion.
Huh?
Now other people might argue with me about this because Bakugo is still a beast, but no.
It's not a Naruto Sasuke rivalry.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing, but again, Not terrible. Like I said, in Demon Slayer, I haven't even found a character. Like my character's not there yet, so
Okay.
I haven't met my character yet. So we'll see.
I think you're gonna be. I think. Well, you know what? You're the dark and broody. I think you might be. Yeah, you're gonna find him. You said you're on episode 3.
I think so. Yeah.
You'll find him in probably in the second season.
Okay. Okay. So what do you think? Not taking out what you don't know about me, like taking out what you know about me. Where do you think should say if somebody's struggling between these two?
Between these two shows?
Yeah. Not me, but just somebody in general.
Okay.
Should you start with Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia?
I think that the story, that's a hard one because I think that the story of My Hero Academia is easier to follow, and the brightness of it, I think it's more encouraging and relatable that way. But I think also with My Hero Academia, the abilities and kind of the characters, sometimes it depends on the personality because Demon Slayer is a little more dark. And so if you're someone who wants the darkness and the grit and the blood, definitely go Demon Slayer.
Okay.
But if you're somebody who wants like that inspiration, that push, but even then, so I figured it out. If I'm starting somebody off, I'm gonna go with Demon Slayer.
Okay, final answer.
Because Tanjiro is super, super motivational for me. I think about Tanjiro more than I think of any other character. I even think about him more than Rock Lee. And Rock Lee is my boy. But I think of Tanjiro.
I don't understand it, but I know it.
Yes, no. Tanjiro, main character Tanjiro, I think of him so often in a day. Like when I'm like going through something or I'm training or doing something, I'm like, yeah. I think of him and then I think of Midoriya.
Okay. So he's second. He's a close second.
Midoriya is second, but he's not the same. I think of Go Beyond Plus Ultra. That's one of my workouts. I have the timer in my phone when I'm like, you know what? Today I'm gonna push myself. It is titled Go Beyond. That is yep, that's it.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So yes.
Other shows that you think that even come close to these two?
Say that again. What shows come close?
Are there any other shows that even come close to these two? For
Attack on Titan.
Who you should start? Ooh, interesting.
Attack on Titan.
Okay. Why?
Because Eren Yeager is a savage. Eren Yeager, a lot of people don't like where he's going, but I love where he's going. I love it. Now, absolutely. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish it off.
I was gonna say I absolutely love the transition that he made in that last season. So as you go, they're on Shiganshina. They're trying to get out of this cage that they're essentially in. And when they see that they are birds in a cage, Eren Yeager is not interested in this game. I love where he went.
So interesting. I feel like when I compared the three, so I've watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of all 3. Watched a little bit of My Hero Academia. I feel like My Hero Academia was the easiest to fall into. Like when I watched that first episode, I was like, oh yeah, I'll keep watching. Both of the other 2, I didn't give that. I watched the first episode and that was it. As somebody fresh to anime, I have no roots essentially. I watched the entirety of Naruto, that entire story all the way through. Loved it. But other than that, I have next to no experience with it. So I think when I watch, I'll compare. This is just from my experience.
Yeah.
Demon Slayer seemed cool. It was dark and I don't mind that at all. I'm a big fan of that. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't immediately hooked. My Hero Academia, I was in right from the get-go. Like the brightness, the excitement. So call me what you will, but like that was exciting. You know, the effects of it got me right from the get-go. So it made me want to keep watching. Whereas Attack on Titan was the exact opposite. I was like
exact opposite, 100%.
It was weird and it was and great. I felt like it was trying to play with my emotions and I didn't know what emotions it was trying to play with. Like like the opening scene, if I remember correctly, is like horrific.
Yes,
And
yes,
what the hell is happening here? So,
yes.
and just the art style and everything's very strange with Attack on Titan. And again,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get very far into it, but it was very aggressive. I felt like with Attack on Titan, it dropped me into a story that was ongoing. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
I think, whereas I think the other ones eased in a little bit better. So that's my experience.
Yeah. Right. And actually, when you mention that, so in order of those three, I think that you're right. My Hero Academia, it eases you in. It's an easy story to follow. I think it's most similar to Naruto, where it's like you got a bunch of different characters, you got their abilities, you see this climb trying to become great. And then in terms of like dropping you into a story, it's like you almost start at the beginning with that one. Right. Attack on Titan is 100% where you're in the middle of this world. It's almost like, it's funny that you mentioned Game of Thrones earlier. That's how Game of Thrones, the show, starts. It just drops you in and you're like, okay, trying to find where you are. Yeah. And I think that Demon Slayer is right in the middle of those two. And I don't know. Attack on Titan, I didn't really start liking it until season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is. And again, so I could not stand Eren Yeager. Eren Yeager in the beginning was this whiny, loud, annoying character that I was like, I can't even see myself getting past this. So I stopped watching it. And then I was like, I have a feeling it's going to be a good one. So I'd watch an episode here or there. And then season 2, they changed his character. Not like how he felt, but like his demeanor, like his loudness and all that changed. Okay. And then season 3 was when you get into like the meat of the show. And that's when it's like, all right, this is actually getting good. Then season 4, part 1 and 2, great.
That's all you're there.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
So I know this is gonna sound like blasphemy to you. Like your answer for yes, but like, can I start in season 4? Like, would it be valuable
of Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Start in like halfway through season 2. If you're gonna, you can skip season 1. It's annoying.
Okay.
Because they have enough flashback to season 1 that you can piece together what happened.
Okay. Yeah,
but don't do that. Watch the whole thing. Just skip it. Don't do it.
I'm a completionist, right? So
yes,
I want to see everything when I immerse myself. But to be honest, if I started in season 2 and then really enjoyed it, found myself really hooked into it, I would go back and watch. I would stop. I would reach a certain point where I would.
And I hate to say skip season 1 because I don't really remember what happened at like the end of season 1. I just remember being like, I'm not really into it until season 2. And maybe it was because of what happened at the end of season 1. I'm not exactly sure. But it tends to be that way, right? Where it's like the end of one thing draws you into the next. So
that's right.
That might have been it.
Okay. So definitely just a rehash. For sure, My Hero Academia, then Demon Slayer.
Wait, you said start at My Hero?
What do you mean? No,
Did you say okay?
Who's brand new, fresh?
Who's brand new? Start with Demon Slayer because I think it can multiple audiences can find something in it. Whereas in My Hero Academia, I think it has a much more select audience. Because again, it's like it has the dark, but it also has the light. It has funny in it. Whereas My Hero Academia doesn't have any dark until really season 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I felt like it was transitioning into a darker direction at the beginning of season 2. But
I would say at best season 5.
Okay. Yeah.
At best season 5 is when you get because you got Shigaraki. He's going through some things.
Okay.
Flashing lights. Everyone look. Start Demon Slayer if you have not already fallen in love with Naruto. Because Naruto is the base. That's like the golden egg. and everything else can branch off of that. But Demon Slayer is probably where I'm going to tell you, go ahead, go there, check it out, and then we can trickle into all the other little friends that they have. But that's one of the second big dogs. They're in a league, similar to those of old. So definitely go there.
Okay. So start Demon Slayer. That's your final answer.
Final answer. For $1 million.
I like it. I'm gonna give you a brief spoiler for my Beyond the Bad Guys. I'm gonna give you a brief spoiler of what's coming here in the near future. But start Batman New 52. Okay.
Batman New 52.
Batman New 52, episode 1. Or issue
Okay.
1.
Okay.
Takes you right into the story. Batman with kind of his first experience with the Court of Owls. So if you've had some experience with the Court of Owls in the past, you'll know what you're getting yourself into. But if not, excellent story, dark, definitely broody. But you get to see Batman evolve his understanding, get to get a good glimpse into his backstory and some of the things that helped him to develop his detective skills. Ultimately, pretty gripping story, and I picked it up and I couldn't put it down. I have the trade paperback, and I picked it up and I started reading it, and I read the entire thing in one setting. It took me like an hour and a half to read the whole thing. But where I would start if you're a brand new Batman fan. But I have a whole list of stuff coming here pretty soon about that. So that's where we're going. If you're Beyond the Bad Guy, that's where I would start. Pick it up. Amazon. Links below.
Okay, good deal. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna hit that link too.
Next month we're gonna have a quiz. Okay, there's gonna be a quiz.
Okay.
That's where you pick it up once. It's a single storyline.
Question: do they have an audio version where I can listen to it?
They can. You can. So
okay.
I will send you details about that, about how you can make that happen.
Okay. All right. Bet we're in there.
All right, sir. You take care. Yeah. I will catch you later. We'll see you back next month.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Take care.